Welcome to the channel. My name is Matthias. Today we're going to talk about Avengers Academy issues 27 and 28. Here we have the kids at the Academy meet for the first time the Runaways, who are also adolescent characters. So we have this pretty interesting situation where we're not sure if the Runaways are going to join the Avengers Academy or not. So without further ado, let's get into these issues. And now things start off pretty hilariously where we have the character Stryker. He has actually called the press to tell the world that he's gay, that he's coming out of the closet. Now, if I remember correctly, Stryker as a character was like a child actor when he was younger. And he's obsessed with self-promotion, so he's just using this whole situation to get attention onto himself. And this leads to a situation with Julie Power, who was one of the members of the Power Pack. Now she's in the Avengers Academy. And she's a lesbian character, and she was like talking to Stryker about this whole situation of coming out. And she sort of goes and confronts Stryker about this whole situation because she tells him, look, she's like, you never even went out with a guy. You sort of think you're gay, but you're not sure. This is really not cool to use this as self-promotion. So that was like a pretty interesting situation that we got there. So that aside, what happens in the story is that we have the Runaways. They actually need help from the Avengers, more specifically from Hank Pym, because the thing is that one of the members of the Runaways is Hank's grandson, Victor Mancha, who is the son of Voltron. It's pretty complicated and convoluted, that whole situation, but the thing is, and that's sort of like the main gist of the Runaways, they're all children of supervillains. And even though they are superheroes, they are very wary of authority. They are always on the move, and they do not want to be forced to stay in any place. So they know that going to the Avengers Academy is sort of like a risk for them. But the thing is, they need help to rescue Old Lass, who was the pet velociraptor of Gertrude, who was one of the members of the team. It seems that Old Lass has fallen back into prehistoric times. And Hank Pym seems to be like the only option for the Runaways to be able to time travel to the past and save Old Lass. It's pretty funny when Victor Mancha actually meets Hank Pym and calls him grandfather. And Hank Pym is really not cool with him. He corrects him every time and tells him, call me Dr. Pym. Also, it's pretty cool that in the first encounter between the Runaways and the Avengers Academy, we don't get like the classic superhero misunderstanding where we have both groups battling it out. Where basically if one person would have talked, they would have stopped this whole situation. In this case, Hank Pym with Victor Mancha. So what happens is the Runaways explain the situation, and they make it super clear that they do not want to join the Academy. All they want is to save Old Lass. And we get this pretty interesting situation with Hank Pym and Tigra, where they're discussing the fact that most of the Runaways are older than 16, so they're okay that after this mission they can go. But Molly Hayes and Clara Prast are way too young, that they have to go to school, and they have to see the whole situation that they're way too young to be running around. The thing is that one of the members of the Runaways actually overhears this conversation and is afraid that they're going to try to put Molly and Clara under the custody of the Avengers, but does not say anything at first because they want to save Old Lass first. So what happens is the Avengers Academy and the Runaways are able to travel to the past. They are able to find and rescue Old Lass super quick. They even cross paths with Moon Boy and Devil Dinosaur. That's when Nico tells the other members of the Runaways about the situation with Molly and Clara. So now we have the battle between both teams. It feels justified. It doesn't feel like a superhero misunderstanding. The Runaways are very afraid of losing two of their members. And the thing is that this team is very tight-knit. And the way they resolve this conflict, also, it's pretty well done, because what happens is Nico, to be able to get her point across with the adult members of the Avengers Academy, casts a empathy spell where everyone can understand the situation of the other. It's very well done. It's well thought of. And the emphasis is that they have a great deal of friendship amongst each other. They protect each other. They're sort of like a found family. And that's why Molly and Clara have to stay with them. So once they return to the present, both teams part ways. It's a brief little story arc that, at least for me, was pretty fun.